What's up, Andre? Having some sort of technical difficulties today. It's like -7. Andre, I know you said it's cold in Moscow. I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's like -7 today. My Wi-Fi has been running kind of badly all day, so it seems to be working now. It took like 5 minutes to get this stream started, which usually it takes about maybe 30 seconds. But anyways, who do we have in here so far? It might just be me and you, Andre. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is showing up, but that's okay. We can give it a couple of minutes. I think usually I make the mistake by just like starting too early and just kind of blabbing and not waiting for people. Um, but anyways, yeah. So I've accumulated a lot of movies over the last couple of months since that's been like my main kind of my main obsession lately. I feel like I've been more into movies lately than I have been maybe ever, or at least since I was a little kid, which is awesome. Been seeing a lot of movies in the theater. Of course, I've been collecting a lot of stuff. I have like months worth of physical media that I've collected and that I haven't shown on my channel or anything like that. Mostly, I've just been doing film reviews lately, and honestly, I've been loving doing that. But I've still been buying a ton of stuff. Haven't shown it yet, so I got a unlimited movie pass to like our the theater that we have in town. It's like a mile away from my place, so I've been seeing a lot of movies in the theater for the first time, and I've been seeing more movies now than I have seen in like the last 20 years. It's been pretty awesome. Unfortunately, it is January and there's not much to see. Uh, so I've been seeing things like if I like a movie, I've been seeing it twice. I saw Godzilla -1. I saw twice. I'm going to see the Iron Claw again today. I've already seen it. I loved it. I'm going to see it for the second time. Might as well make the most of this pass. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot to choose from. I saw Soul last night, which I thought was a new movie. It's a Pixar film. I didn't know that it was this was its first theatrical release. As it came out, I think in 2020, Soul, 2020. So like most theaters were not up and running at that time. So I guess it didn't get a chance to play in theaters, and so this is its first time. I love Pixar stuff. I've been there since like pretty much since day one. I was there for the Toy Story movies and stuff, and I haven't kept up with them completely, but I thought it was pretty good. Check out Soul if you like Pixar stuff. I liked it. It was nice. Um, yeah, I've been checking. There's just not much coming out. I totally forgotten that January was such like a dry month for movie theaters. Anyways, Andre, are you there? Are you freezing to death yet, man? It's I'm curious how cold it is in Moscow because, like I said, it's -7 here. It's brutal. It's like it does not. I mean, it gets cold here. Don't get me wrong. It does not get -7 very often. In fact, I don't think it's gotten this cold in the last maybe 10 years, something like that. It's brutal, absolutely brutal. Like it's literally painful just to step outside. It sucks. Luckily, it's only supposed to last a couple days. It started yesterday, and it's gonna go on until like Monday or something. So we will be okay. Okay, it's warmed up a little. It's only -1 now, so awesome. You love cold, Andre? Oh, dude, you are insane. I don't know. How cold is it over there though? Like what? I'm sure in Russia you guys use Celsius. We use Fahrenheit, so I'd have to convert. I used to know how to convert that back when I was in college, but nah, I don't remember any of that shit. It's yeah, it sucks. Anyways, who else do we have in? We got Andre. It says there's 3 people watching, so now there's 5. Let me know who's here. Yeah, Simon, what's up, dude? -20, Andre says. What the fuck? -20? Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit? What system do you guys use in Russia? Um, Either way, yeah, like I said, I'd have to convert it. Uh, that sounds brutal. I mean, it definitely gets that cold here in the U.S. in certain places like Minnesota. Yeah, basically most of the entire Midwest and the North. Uh, Not the Northwest, but no baloney. What's up, man? Good to see you. So yeah, it's yeah, Andre, you guys use the Celsius. Um, Let me convert that real quick. Hold on, guys. I'm going to see what negative 20 in our, we use obviously in North America, we use Fahrenheit. So let's see I'm just going to type it in. What is negative 20 in Fahrenheit? So it is -4. All right. So Andre, it's about you're having pretty similar weather to what we're having. We've been as low as -7. Negative a lot, Simon. Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty similar, Andre. We're having pretty similar weather. I know Russia gets really cold. Yeah, like I said, where I live, it doesn't get that cold all the time. This is extreme weather. What about you, Simon? What is it cold in England right now? I imagine it's got to be at least a little bit cold. You guys been seeing any theater movies lately? I guess like I said, there's not really a lot to see. We I've seen Soul, the Pixar film. In case you guys weren't here for that, I've seen Godzilla -1 twice. I'm going to see The Iron Claw for the second time tonight, and really been enjoying going back to the theater. It's awesome. It's awesome. So let me know what you guys have been seeing in the theater, if you've seen anything, and I'll get started on my stuff here. I had it in some kind of order over the last couple of weeks. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So I've been buying a lot of movies lately. Maybe I don't want to say more than ever, but a lot. But what I have here is over like the last 3 months, so it's really not, I guess, not that bad. Yeah, Andre, I remember you saying you saw Godzilla. I'm pretty sure you said you liked it. I think it's great. I'm gonna do a top 5 2023 movies video. Maybe I'll do it today. I want to do that soon. I was, most people do like a top 10 or a top 20, but I didn't see a ton of movies. I saw maybe like 15 or 20 movies in 2023. This year, I'm going to see a ton. I'm going to try and see as many as I can. Simon hasn't been to the cinema for a while now. Yeah, I used to be that way. I used to go a lot, like as a teenager, and then for the last 20 years, it's been pretty sparse. But last couple of months, I've been going a lot. I've just been loving it. I completely missed it. I know going to the theater isn't always fun. Like, it depends on how many people are in there. And I think where I live, I just don't think people go out to movies very much anymore. Because every time I go, there's it's maybe 10% full, which is sad at the same time as it is kind of cool, because obviously that eliminates the chances of you being with some obnoxious people. But yeah, there's some good movies coming up that I want to see, but there's, again, January. I'm sure you guys are aware of this. January for theaters is just where all the movies that aren't predicted to do very well, they get dumped into like the early months of the year. So January, and I'm pretty sure February is not much better, but January is just the worst time to go see movies. But there's some good stuff playing right now. Most theaters still have Godzilla -1. I can't recommend that enough. It's awesome. The Iron Claw, awesome. One of the best movies of the year as far as I'm concerned. And I'll repeat myself. I saw Soul, the Pixar film, last night, which was cool because it came out in 2020, but it was the first time it saw a theatrical release. And I thought it was really, really good. So I got back to this. I got some VHS stuff. I got some box sets. And I don't collect VHS a lot. I did when I was, a teenager and a little kid. I collected the hell out of VHS. Now I'll buy stuff when I see it. I mean, I still watch VHS tapes like in my living room and stuff, just for nostalgia reasons. It's still fun, I think. Picked up Blade, one of my favorite Wesley Snipes films. I think a lot of people forget that this was a Marvel film. This was a Marvel film before the Marvel explosion that we've seen over the last 15, 20 years. This was one of the early, one of the first, at least one of the first good ones. There were there were Marvel films in the 80s. There was like that Captain America movie, but they weren't very good. I liked the Hulk series with Lou Ferrigno, but I was fucking 5 years old, 10 years old when I used to watch that. But this is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first like good Marvel film. It's awesome. Andre, you saw Iron Claw, Napoleon. Oh man, I didn't get to see Napoleon. I'd really like to see that. I'm a big Ridley Scott fan. Andre, what did you think? What did you think about Iron Claw? I loved it. Probably my second favorite film of 2023. I thought it was just fantastic. I'm going to go see it again today. I've already said that a couple times, but I'm going to see it for the second time. I probably haven't seen a movie twice in theaters probably since I was like a teenager. It's it's kind of fun. Like I said, I saw Godzilla twice and Iron Claw the second time tonight. I got a buddy who's a huge Highlander fan, so I bought this for him, but I haven't given it to him yet. I'm probably going to watch it with him. I've never seen the Highlander TV series. I don't know what channel this was on. If this was like, if it was on HBO or I don't know. I don't know who aired this originally, but it looks pretty cheesy. But I like the original movie. I like a lot, and this is a pretty hefty set. I haven't heard anything necessarily about it, good or bad. Let's see. Keeping up with the chat here. Simon, what year did that come out? Blade came out in late 90s, I think. 98. Saw this in the theater when I was 16. I think Simon, you and I are, I think, similar age. So I was 16 when I saw that. And yeah, I love the first Blade and the second Blade. Awesome. Third one, not so much. It's fun, I guess. Andre, I hear you right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Iron Claw was great. The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, awesome. The Wrestler was definitely better. Oh man, The Wrestler was just such a raw. How would you describe it? It's just so. It was just such a raw emotional film. Just a masterpiece is all I can say. And for people that aren't like historically, wrestling fans, you can watch movies like The Iron Claw and The Wrestler. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to see those. I've seen some people say that they passed on those movies because they're like, I've never been into wrestling, but you don't need to be. The Iron Claw and The Wrestler, both, they're just fantastic movies. You don't need to be a wrestling fan to enjoy them, guaranteed. So yeah, this Highlander set. Has anyone seen this? Interesting set from Anchor Bay. I picked this up for like $2 or $3. I've never seen a box set like this where it comes in like these. Yeah. I don't know how many episodes there are, but God, there's got to be like a million of them. Eight discs or 9 discs, it looks like. Hopefully it's good, or at least watchable. I really like the first movie. I never saw any of the other Highlander sequels, so I bought this off the strength of the first movie. But I got it super cheap. Simon, you've seen it? Made for TV sort of thing, yeah. Which is not always a good sign, right? But I mean, it could be good. I also picked this up at a thrift shop, or as you call them, Simon, in the UK, call them charity shops. I didn't learn that until recently, actually. We call them thrift stores. So anyways, got The Hobbit. Used to watch this when I was a little kid. I'm a huge fan. I thought that this was. I have the Lord of the Rings the Lord of the Rings animated films too, and I thought so. Those were drawn by Ralph Bakshi, a famous artist, and I thought The Hobbit was as well. This is not a Ralph Bakshi. This is done by other people, but I do remember loving this. loving this back in the day. So it'll be nice throwback to watch that. Simon's watchable. Okay. Highlander is watchable, says Simon. I'll get around to it eventually. I've had it kicking around for actually, I think I've had it kicking around for 6 months now. Highlander's been a big hit in Russia. Cool. I could see that. Not that I know that much about Russia, but I've been wanting to rewatch the Highlander, the first movie, for a long time. It's just a lot of fun. There's a bunch of sequels that are hit and miss as far as I've been told. But it's a fun. I like the premise. It's got a fun storyline. I don't know. I think it's cool. Then I got second season of Eastbound and Down. I have the first season. I thought it was hilarious. Danny McBride. If you guys have never heard of this, it's a comedy. Obviously, it's about Danny McBride. He is a Major League Baseball player, a washed-up one, but he still has the mindset of like a successful baseball player. He's still got the arrogance and everything, and his life pretty much falls apart. And it's just hilarious. It's probably one of the best TV shows I've ever seen, to be honest. Loved the first season, so I'm excited to watch that. Been a while, though. Been a while since I've seen that first season. I won't be disappointed with the Highlander series. That's good to know. Good to know it's at least not awful. I mean, I'll watch anything to an extent, but I'll at least give anything a shot. I bought this because I think I picked this up for $1. I already have it, so I was just going to give it away to someone that doesn't. First season of Arrested Development, one of the best TV shows of all time. A matter of fact, if anyone wants this, just let me know. I'll send me a message. I'll just send it to you. As long as you don't live in Russia or England. Sorry, shipping's too expensive. But if you live in the U.S. and you need if you need this, just let me know. It's yours. I saw it sitting in a store for like $1 or $2, and I'm like, it's too good of a show to leave sitting there. I've had the first 3 seasons I've had for years, and this is also, one of my favorite shows of all time. As far as I'm concerned, one of the best. Amazing show. If you don't know the history of it too much, it was critically acclaimed back when it came out in the early 2000s, but at least in America, people just weren't ready for a show like this. It didn't get watched enough, so it got canceled after the 3rd season. But it's now considered one of the best shows of all time, and it absolutely is. I mean, this is like rivaling Seinfeld for as far as brilliance goes in a sitcom. Just absolutely amazing, hilarious. Some of the best characters you've ever seen on TV. Simon, I haven't watched a TV series for a long time. I kind of didn't either. I've been getting back into it lately. Just sort of. Andre loves the Lost. Oh, Lost is really good. Walking Dead. Walking Dead I really liked. I think I only saw the first 3 seasons. I've heard after that it's gotten really hit or miss, but I really love those early seasons. Penny Dreadful, amazing. I have those. I think there were 3 seasons for Penny Dreadful. I have all 3. Awesome. I really wish that show would have kept going because it was so good. Here's another one that I've never seen, but I picked it up a while back. Got the Witchblade series, complete series. So I don't know how many seasons this went on for. Witchblade is one of my favorite comic books, so I figured I'd give the show a shot. Nice set. There is 7 discs. Yeah, amazing comic book. I've heard pretty decent things about the show. I don't know. I feel like since I love the comic so much, it's probably going to be disappointing. You know how it goes. But hopefully it's at least watchable. Big Futurama fan. So I picked up Futurama season 1. I never have had any of these Futurama seasons. So classic show. Amazing. Absolutely love it. Andre, you've seen all seasons of Strain. Oh man, That's another one, Strain, I meant to watch. That was also a comic book. I'm a comic guy. It was a good comic book, really good actually. Made a series out of it, and I forgot. Thanks for the reminder. I completely forgot about it. I heard it was really good. Uh, so I said it was a comic book, but I think it was actually a novel originally. I believe. Uh, yeah, I could be wrong. So I believe it was a novel, then a comic book, and then a TV series. But again, could be wrong. So back to Futurama. My history with the show. So I grew up a huge Simpsons fan. I worshiped The Simpsons. I watched it since day one. It was my favorite show, at least for 10 years, probably. So Futurama came out, and this was done by some of the same Simpsons creators. I can't remember exactly who, but some of the Simpsons people were responsible for Futurama. But for some reason, when it came out, late 90s, I think, 1999. I thought it was older than that. But anyways, when it came out, I was for some reason I like rejected it. I don't know. I was so stuck on The Simpsons. I was just like, I don't want to watch Futurama. I watched the first episode, and for some reason I just didn't care for it. And now, I mean, I was so wrong. Now I think it's amazing. I didn't really get into this show until like maybe 10 years ago or something like that, and I can't believe I brushed it off when it came out. It's amazing. It holds its own. I think it's honestly it's as good as The Simpsons ever was. And those first like 7 years, or first like 7 or 8 seasons of The Simpsons were groundbreaking and amazing. And Simon, were you the same way? That's funny. What's wrong with us? And then I got season 3. Yeah. So this show, it ended in like I don't know. It ended at some point, and it had to have been off air for a decade or something like that. So it came back recently. I don't know if it's any good. Things are almost never good when they come back. I should have said the same thing about Arrested Development. It came back a while ago, and it's just not very good anymore. The comeback seasons I thought were just completely underwhelming. I just didn't enjoy them at all. But the first 3, if you guys haven't seen the first 3 seasons of this show, it'll give it a shot. It's truly amazing. Now here's the big one. I've been talking about this lately for the last couple weeks, anyways. I just started watching The Sopranos. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this for sure. So this show came out in '99. And I remember it coming out, and I've always been a big fan of mobster movies. But for some reason, I just avoided this show. Never had even seen a single episode until like the last couple of weeks. And it's been blowing my mind. It's so damn good. It's living up to its reputation, in my opinion, entirely. It's so great. Now I see why everyone was so obsessed with that show for so long. I'm just loving the hell out of it. I can't stop watching it, to be honest. Me and my buddy Chris, we've been doing live streams every Sunday evening, talking about the show Sopranos. It's cool because he was a fan since the early days, like back when it came out, and I'm only just starting to watch it, so it's kind of cool, there being such a dichotomy between us two talking about the show. It's been a lot of fun. Andre, you watched it back when it was on TV? Cool. Yeah, I just didn't for some reason. I don't know why. Sometimes I'll do that with stuff. I'll avoid things for no particular reason. It's just it's just something that I do. Simon used to watch it, but honestly can't remember much about it. Yeah, maybe you should restart it. It's great. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So now we'll just get into movies. Got quite a few. None of these are in any order. I had them in order like a month or 2 ago, but not anymore. It's just going to be completely random. And I didn't take any notes or anything. It doesn't matter. You guys will help me. You guys will help me fill in the blanks. So I'm a big Terrifier fan. I don't know if you guys are into Terrifier. Uh, I think the Terrifier franchise is one of the best horror franchises we've gotten in a long time. I think Art the Clown is one of the best slasher villains we've got in a long time. So I'm a big fan of those first two Terrifier movies, but I had never seen All Hallows Eve, which was this is what the director Damien Leone, this is what he did previous to the Terrifier franchise. This was like a three episode anthology type movie, all directed by Damien Leone. Two of the three have Art the Clown in the shorts or in the whatever segments, and they're really good. There's the middle segment not so good, but the first and the third really good. Any Terrifier fans in here, if you haven't seen this, I definitely would recommend it. Very mean spirited, very gory, just very horrific, I guess you could say. I'd been wanting to see this for a good year or two. Just hadn't got around to it. And I've got this really nice release by Arrow Video, Tremors 2 Aftershocks. I'm a huge Tremors fan. Simon and Andre, I know you guys, I feel like you guys are probably fans of this too, unless I'm wrong, but I've been really wanting to rewatch this series for a long time, and I'm going to start. I'm going to marathon the whole thing. But so Arrow put this out. It's a really nice set. It's a Blu-ray. Really well done. Everything Arrow does is well done. One of my favorite Arrow's one of my favorite, like, what would you call it, film studios or whatever. So you got the original cover. You guys might remember that. It's got a reversible cover, which is always fun. Simon been meaning to buy the second Terrifier. Yeah, Terrifier 2, crazy. I'm a big fan. Andre, you're a Tremors fan. For some reason, I figured you would be. So this is pretty cool. You get a lot of stuff here. You get like they give you a couple of posters, which was cool. I'll probably use them at some point. You got this. Talks about like the the anatomy of the graboid. Simon, first Tremors is a classic. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I only really remember the first one. I don't remember the other ones, I don't think, but I'm going to rewatch them all, or some of them for the first time. They give you another poster, more of an actual poster. So you got the original, that's the original cover, movie poster too. And then it's also reversible. Then you get that, just the front of the DVD. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'll probably use it somehow. And then they also give you pretty cool book. It's got a lot of stuff in it. I haven't really gone through it yet. A lot of facts about the facts about the movie. It's nice. Yeah, I love Arrow Video. Everything they do is always pretty high quality. So price wasn't bad either. So I'm glad to have that. Then I got this. I think I paid like $1 for this. This is I think this is an anthology TV show. Back in the late 40s, early 50s, called Lights Out. I'd only vaguely heard about it before, but it sounded pretty cool. This has 2 of the episodes. Yeah, this is kind of like a, what would you call it? What's the series that I can't think of right now? You know what I mean? Outer Limits and stuff like that. Thought it'd be pretty cool to check out. Then I've been in a King Kong mood lately. Hadn't seen this since it was in the theater, and I didn't really like it back then, so I figured I'd give it a second chance. The Peter Jackson Godzilla, or not Godzilla, King Kong. I remember, like, I thought it was a quality film when I saw it in the theater, but I wasn't really a King Kong fan back then, and I'm a much bigger fan now. So yeah, I didn't get the Blu-ray. I picked this up really cheap, and it was a nice set. So I've been buying more Blu-rays lately, but it's not always important to me. And eventually, I guess I'll get into 4K, but I'm not really excited about that. I could care less really. Um, I only really started buying more Blu-ray stuff, so yeah, I don't really want to upgrade to 4K anytime real soon. Andre loves the 1977 King Kong. Yeah, that's a good one. Who was in that? Who directed that? I can't. That's not the Jeff Bridges version, I don't think. I thought the Jeff Bridges version, I think, came out in the 80s. Yeah, the 77 one is good. Yeah, I'm a big Peter Jackson fan and a big fan of Kong, so I figured I was probably wrong about this. I just don't think I was ready for it when I saw it in the theater. I think I'll appreciate it much more now. So, all right, what else? Another movie that I avoided for no reason. I was a big martial arts movie fan, like as a little kid, and I think when this came out, I kind of wasn't into that kind of thing. But lately, I've I've been again interested in martial arts films. So, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, obvious classic. Everyone loves this. It was just it was so popular when it came out. It like really kind of revived the martial arts film movement, I guess you could say. And it won a ton of awards when it came out and all that. And I love Chow Yun Fat. He's great. I love Michelle Yeoh. She's fantastic. So yeah, finally I'll see this. I think it came out in like 2000, so around the time of The Matrix, I think, somewhere around there. Finally, I get to watch it. I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan, so I don't know. I picked this up for like $1. Mimic is a pretty cool movie, kind of underrated. I mean, Guillermo del Toro just is such a, not everything he does is great, but he means well. He's a very talented guy. I like the guy a lot, but everything he does, he at least gives everything all that he has, whether we like it or not. But yeah, pretty cool like creature feature. This is about like these kind of like these cockroach type. They're like they look like mutated cockroaches. Pretty cool concept. It's called Mimic because these cockroach creatures, they could actually like change the shape of their body to an extent, and they would trick people. They would kind of almost look like a human. So they would trick people so they could kill them. Really cool visuals. The monster, the creature, whatever you want to call it, looks really, really cool. Yeah, Josh Brolin, I think probably one of the earlier Josh Brolin movies, at least that I know of. I don't remember him doing all that much back then. 1995, this was, I think. 94, 95. But yeah, kind of an underrated creature feature. Check it out if you haven't. Yeah, Andre, it's a cool movie. And I got a couple Criterion Collection films, which are, obviously you guys know what Criterion does. Their re-releases are just really cool. I have a few of them in my collection. I've been wanting to see this for a while. Still haven't watched it, but Ghost Dog, it's called, directed by Jim Jarmusch, who's done some really cool stuff. Got Forrest Whitaker in here. It's pretty much about Forrest Whitaker plays like this gangster who's like he takes a lot of inspiration from like Japanese samurais. So he has like this code of honor that's really similar to what the samurais used and stuff like that. I've heard it's really cool. It's got a soundtrack by RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan, who he's a really talented guy. He does some really cool soundtrack stuff. Even I'm not a huge hip hop fan, but I think he's really talented. So been wanting to see this for a while. Simon says it's decent. Hopefully it's better than decent, but I'll settle for decent. So it comes with a nice booklet. Yeah, rewatching Mimic. I'd been wanting to rewatch it too. From what I've heard, it actually holds up pretty well. So that's a plus. Which that's kind of hard to do with creature movies from the 90s. Not many of those hold up, So I'm glad to say that it does, at least from what I've seen. I'm also a big Takashi Miike fan. Takashi Miike, very, very famous Japanese director. He's directed I think over 100 movies or something like that. Warning: Ghost Dog is a rap movie. That's okay. That's all right. As long as I like it, or as long as I think it's well written and well acted and stuff. So yeah, 13 Assassins. I've as far as Takashi Miike is concerned, I've mostly just watched his horror stuff. Because he's directed some really crazy horror movies, or horror adjacent, I guess you could say. But this takes place in feudal era Japan, so I guess maybe this is kind of a period piece. But I'd always wanted to see it. All right, I have 2 more stacks similar to that size of what I just showed. I'll grab them, since I didn't prepare myself that well today. Let me slide over here. Whoa, we're crashing. I should have at least put them within arm's reach. That would have been smart. Okay. Well, here's half of one of those stacks anyways. Oh, I'll grab the other half, I guess. All right. It was a little bit of a mess, as always, pretty much. Simon, definitely worth watching, but like most things, don't remember much about it. Yeah, I hear you there. No Baloney likes Jim Jarmusch and RZA. Never saw Ghost Dog. Yeah, well, me either. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. All right, this movie here, I've decided recently this is my favorite film of 2023. The Holdovers. Thought it was just absolutely fantastic. I reviewed it. It's just great. If you want to know more about it, you can watch my review. I love Paul Giamatti, who's one of the main actors here. Just quick rundown. This is about, so Paul Giamatti is a teacher, history teacher, works for a boarding school. And so one year around Christmas time, when all the kids go home for the holidays, one kid gets left behind. His mom and his stepdad choose to not pick him up, which is kind of fucked up. But anyways, so Paul Giamatti, the teacher, he has to stay behind, and someone has to look out, look out for the kid. So Paul Giamatti stays to, yeah. It's just pretty much him, the kid, and the one of the cooks for the school. They all have to stay instead of going home and spending time with their families. It's just really damn good. That's all I can say. It's awesome. Home Alone remake? No, no, it's not like Home Alone. It's just a really good movie. Highly recommended. Here's another one that I've heard a lot of good things about, and for some reason just always passed on it. Birdman. I've heard nothing but great things. This is really nice Blu-ray, by the way. Got so it's basically about, or at least from what I've heard over the years, Michael Keaton. He's an actor. He played it like a comic book type character called Birdman, and that's about all I know, I guess. So it's got a pretty good cast: Michael Keaton, Edward Norton, Andrea Riseborough, Emma Stone, Naomi Watts. So crazy cast. I've just heard it's fantastic. So finally, also comes in a cool red Blu-ray case, which you don't see that too often. So definitely excited to check that out. finally. I've been rewatching the Wes Anderson films. I have a couple of them here, only one that I can find right now. Darjeeling Limited. This is a fantastic movie. It's basically about these three brothers. Got Owen Wilson, you got Adrian Brody, and then you've got Jason Schwartzman. So they're three brothers. They haven't seen each other in a while. They've all been really close, but they just kind of lost touch with each other. There's a family tragedy that happens. I think the father dies or something like that. So they're all going to the funeral. They all take a train ride together, before the funeral, so they can kind of rebond with each other. But it's just so good. I love Wes Anderson. This might be my favorite of his. I decided that recently. Might be my favorite, and that's saying a lot because I like all his stuff. But it's just a really, really good movie. Definitely check it out. And then we've got, so I've been in a big kaiju mood lately. Watching a lot of Godzilla stuff. This is one of the earliest kaiju movies, Rodan from 1956. This might be like the second kaiju movie ever made. I could be wrong, but it's real early. I think the first Godzilla film was 54, I think, something like that. So this is 1956. Yeah, just an old DVD version, but it's pretty nice. I've never actually seen that before. Andre, you were at Darjeeling, India, beautiful city. It looks cool. I've never been anywhere near India, but yeah, it looks like a nice place. Then I got this cool Blu-ray Scream Factory Dark Angel of Dolph Lundgren. This is kind of an unknown classic, I think. This is one of the best Dolph Lundgren films by far. Haven't seen it for a long time actually. It's from what I remember, it's like this alien guy that shows up to Earth. I'm kind of going off my memory and also what it says on the back. So he shows up to Earth to steal human endorphins, and the aliens use it for something like a drug, I think. So yeah, interesting concept. And Dolph Lundgren plays, I think he's a cop or FBI. Yeah, I think he's the FBI agent to find out what's going on with all these mysterious murders. And it turns out, yeah, it's this alien dude, this guy right there. It's a cool movie. If you like 80s action, like sci-fi action, you won't regret watching it. It's awesome. I'm in for a treat. Are you talking about Rodan, Simon, or Dark Angel? I assume you were talking about Rodan. Yeah, I love these old Japanese kaiju movies, like in the Godzilla universe and all that. Not all of them are great. Some of them are really, really bad, in fact, but they're all fun. Some of them are, I mean, almost unwatchably bad. I don't know. I guess that's my opinion, anyways. But there are definitely some that are better than others. Simon, Rodan, yeah. I don't watch like a lot of 50s movies, so excited to watch that one. I'm sure it's maybe not amazing, but I'm sure it'll be fun. I got another Arrow video release here. Kolobos. This came out originally, I think, in the late 90s. Let's see if I can find a date. I don't see a date. It's definitely late 90s from what I remember. So this is kind of a... Andre, yeah. I figured you would like Rodan. I know you're a big fan of those movies. Yeah, this is kind of a slasher film, I guess you could say. A lot of people kind of compare it to Saw, which would come out later. I watched it once. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. It does have some good gore scenes. I wouldn't say rush out to get it anytime soon, but if you see it streaming somewhere, so maybe give it a watch. Decent, definitely watchable. I don't think it's amazing. And then since I've been in such a Sopranos mood, I mean, I've always liked James Gandolfini, so pick this up, Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt. It's got a pretty big cast. Richard Jenkins, Ray Liotta, James Gandolfini, like I said. Uh, Heard it's pretty good. It's kind of like a crime film. I don't think it's like a mafia movie, but it's like a crime action type thing. So uh, remember it coming out. Didn't have any interest in it at the time, but I do now. Andre, you don't like Saw? Yeah, I'm not a huge Saw fan either, to be honest. Um, they're entertaining, I think, but maybe overall not really my thing. They're just kind of like gory for gore's sake. I mean, if you're a big fan of gore, I'd recommend Saw. But and I do like some gore stuff, like gore oriented. What's that called? What do they call it? Torture porn, I think is the term. I think the term torture porn was created around, or it was created around the same time that Saw came out. I think that term was actually made up for Saw and then other movies that came out after. I could be wrong though, but anytime you hear the term torture porn, I usually am not a fan of those, anything that would come under that banner. Not really my thing. I like gory stuff, but I don't really like. I'm not a big fan of movies that are focused on gore. Although that might be kind of contradictory because I talked about how much I love Terrifier, which is those are absolutely gore films. But I don't know. I guess I like some of it. Not a huge Saw fan though. I did hear Saw X was really good though. That one from last year. Picked up this movie I'd never heard of. It's called The Forbidden Room. This was put out by a studio called Kino Lorber, which they put out really cool movies. Usually they'll like re-release stuff. They'll re-release like old classic movies from all eras, like 40s, 50s, 60s, all decades really. So I thought this was an old movie when I saw it. I was like, oh, that must be some old classic from like the 50s or something. But it's actually a modern film. This actually came out in 2015. So I heard this is just a kind of an art film. I don't know. We'll see. I like some stuff like that, but not everything. Back to the Sopranos, kind of my Sopranos mood, which I wasn't in when this came out, but I decided to pick it up now. Many Saints of Newark. So this is like a Sopranos prequel. I've never really heard many people talk about it, so I don't know how good it is. Or Simon, you like gore and humor together more than just gore? Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Maybe I like the Scream franchise because that would fall under that banner. Yeah, anyone seen Many Saints of Newark? It's got a good cast. It's got let's see, I think Ray Liotta is in this. It's got some of the actors from Sopranos. Not very many, I don't think. I feel like there's at least one or two. I could be wrong. It's got John Bernthal though. Big fan of John Bernthal. He played Frank Castle in that Punisher series from some years back. Good actor. Good point, Andre. Yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses, gore and humor. That's a good that's a good one to throw out there. I actually love that movie. I think it's great. I think Rob Zombie's a cool director personally. I know he gets a lot of shit, but I think he's good. Back to the kung fu films that I was talking about, or martial arts films, I guess you could call it. And what kicked that off is I watched the Kill Bill movies not too long ago, and it just put me in an instant mood for kung fu films. So I've picked up a few. Andre, you only watched that the other month. Yeah, I love it. Talking about House of a Thousand Corpses. No baloney, you like The Sopranos, the movie. Yeah, I haven't really heard anything good about that movie, so I don't exactly have high hopes, but so yeah, martial arts stuff. We've got Circle of Iron, starring David Carradine. This came out in late 70s, 78, I think. So this was directed by, I think it was directed, or at least it was written, not directed, written by Bruce Lee, which is kind of what it's famous for. Um, I always like these Blue Underground releases. So I've always heard this is a pretty cool movie. Have not ever seen it. Simon, you got Three from Hell on top of your player. I actually didn't see Three from Hell. That's the I need to still see that. All right, more kung fu stuff. Classic Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. This was like Bruce Lee's big American film. I loved it. I watched the hell out of this when I was a teenager. I used to have it on VHS, so it'll be cool to revisit that. One of the best kung fu films ever made, in my opinion, or martial arts films, we should say. Then I've got this double feature: The Bloody Fists and Moonlight Sword and Jade Lion. Two films that I had heard of and I just had never seen them, but they're classics of the genre. So I think I paid $1 for this. I'll get some enjoyment out of it. I'm trying not to watch too many, or I'm trying not to buy too many films these days, just because I find them cheap. Because usually, I don't know, I bought a bunch over the last like couple years, and most of them just turned out to be bad and unwatchable in a lot of cases. Watched Enter the Dragon a few days ago. Yeah, it's so good. John Saxon, Jim Kelly. It's amazing. So yeah, here's another $1 film. Speaking of trying not to buy them, I had never heard of this. I'm sure it's bad. It's from 2001. Children of the Living Dead. I don't know. 2001 low budget horror. Usually not a good sign, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get something out of it. Andre, love all the Bruce Lee films. They're all really good. Yeah, I love them all too. Yeah, all fantastic. Picked up some of the Phantasm movies that I didn't have. All Anchor-based stuff. Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. I don't think I've ever actually even seen this. I think I've only seen the first two. So I love the first two. Number 4, Oblivion. I think these originally came with slipcases, but obviously those are long gone. All right, what do we got left? I'm going to creep over here real quick. Sorry about the weird camera angle. Okay. This is the last stack. It's a pretty big one, but this is the last of it. So I've been in a mood. I talked about the Holdovers a minute ago. That was directed by a guy named Alexander Payne, who's fantastic. He directed a movie called Sideways like 10, 15 years ago or something like that. And it's so good. So I decided to go after some of his other stuff that I've never seen. So I picked up Nebraska. This is from 2013. And this is about a guy he's an older guy, and he goes to, let's see. I read a synopsis the other day. A father and his son, who I think they had lost touch with each other, they decide to kind of come together and they go on a journey to claim $1 million prize. I can't remember if it was a lottery ticket or something like that, but it's about them reconnecting and, you know, all that stuff. It's an Alexander Payne film, so I'm sure it'll be good. Yeah, no baloney. Check out Holdovers, man. So good. My favorite film from last year. I've just recently decided it's truly amazing. It's a masterpiece. Simon, you only seen the first two and maybe the third Phantasm. Yeah, I need to catch up. I think there's five or six, something like that. All right, going back to Wes Anderson. This movie actually blew my mind with how good it was. Grand Budapest Hotel. So good. Rafe Fiennes. You got Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, Jason Schwartzman, Tilda Swinton, Owen Wilson. You know, these Wes Anderson films, he always has his regulars. They're pretty much in every movie. So you get most of them in this. This is amazing. This, yeah, truly, truly amazing. Maybe my third favorite Wes Anderson film. Definitely check it out if you haven't, if you're a Wes Anderson fan or at least open to his work. Simon, yeah, there's at least 5 uh, Phantasm films. I can't remember if there's 6, but I know there's at least 5. And one of them, there's a pretty big gap between 4 and 5. I think, if I remember correctly, like 10 or 15 years. The last one that they did, I heard, wasn't very good, but yeah, Don Coscarelli's awesome. Okay, yeah, Andre says there's 6, so yeah, I figured 5 or 6. Back to some Japanese stuff. Criterion Collection. I've always wanted to watch this Seven Samurai, directed by the amazing what's his name, Akira Kurosawa, who's like one of the best film directors ever to come out of Japan. This was a huge inspiration on some of Quentin Tarantino's movies. He took a lot of inspiration from this director and this movie in general. What was that movie called? The Hateful Eight by Tarantino. The Hateful Eight was pretty much Tarantino's remake of Seven Samurai. I mean, it's not a direct remake, don't get me wrong, but he basically modeled that entire movie from this. So I figured I had to see it. I love Tarantino. And I've been branching out, watching stuff a little bit out of my comfort zone. Also picked up this House, or not House. It's just called The Hidden Fortress. This movie was a huge inspiration for George Lucas when he was creating the Star Wars movies. This was a huge one of George Lucas's #1 inspirations. So I figured I had to see it for that reason alone. Haven't seen Seven Samurai yet either. Well, yeah, I guess we both need to watch it. More kung fu films. Remember these 90s DVD sets you'd always find? Early 90s, 2001. So there's a company called Brentwood Home Video. They weren't really known for their quality necessarily, but they would give you these packs of movies, and they're always really cheap. So Sonny Chiba, classic martial arts star. He was in a whole ton of movies. So we get here is Street Fighter, which is one of his best known films. Legend of the Eight Samurai, Return of the Street Fighter, and The Bodyguard. These are all from, I think they're from the like mid 70s, late 70s, something like that. I could be wrong. I'm not a Sonny Chiba expert, but I really like some of his stuff, at least what I've seen. Darth Vader had a samurai helmet. That's a good point, Andre. Yeah, that's a good point. I'd forgotten about that. Darth Vader's helmet was modeled after a samurai helmet. I mean, you can totally tell by looking at it, but I think a lot of people might not know that. Yeah, Sonny Chiba. Sonny Chiba's next to Bruce Lee, honestly. He might be. I think he might be almost up there with Bruce Lee as far as what he brought to movies. Just amazing. Monster Kurosawa fan. You probably know a lot more than me. I'm only just getting into his work, but I'm excited. I'm excited to do it. But glad to hear that you're a fan. Yeah, Sonny Chiba is great. The Arrow Video actually put out a box set of some of his films like a couple years back. I've been really wanting to get that, but it's like $50 or something like that. So instead, I picked this up for like $5. So it'll hold me over at least. And then we've got a Japanese film that I had seen back when it came out in 2010. I remembered really liking it, and I'd wanted to pick up a copy for a long time. Cold Fish. Really, really good, dark, kind of disturbing type Japanese cinema. Directed by Sion Sono. who I'm not familiar with, but this is really really good. If you like dark Japanese horror stuff, which how can you not? I'd highly recommend that. Yeah, Andre Sonny does kick ass. He amazing. So 0 to 77. You're a Kurosawa fan. Maybe you know something about this movie, because I don't. I just picked it up because I had heard it's really good. Ujetsu, another Criterion Collection release, directed by Kenji Mizoguchi. This is an old one, 1953. As I've said many times before, I don't watch a lot of 50s movies, but I'm trying to change that. So you get it's Criterion, so of course it's a nice set. Two discs. It looks like you get a little kind of a documentary about the director, which is really cool. And then you get, as you get in some of these releases, you get a really nice book. 0 to 77. Cool. Glad to hear. I'm better late than never, right? Getting into this kind of stuff. Yeah, I've just heard. I've heard this is just, some people will call this one of the best films ever made. So I had to check it out. Andre, you liked Kurosawa when you were a kid. That's cool. Yeah. And I got a couple Italian films. Gotta love the Italian horror stuff. Antonio Margheriti, Web of the Spider. Never seen it. I'm not the biggest expert on the Italian horror stuff, but I'm getting into it more and more over the years. Klaus Kinski. And then you got Creepers. This is a Dario Argento film. You might actually know this better for, it had a different title. What was it called? Phenomenon, I think is. Yeah, you might know this as Phenomenon. This is the same film. I've never seen it called Creepers until recently, so I don't know how that works. Yeah, Phenomenon. Thanks. Yeah, I'd always wanted to see it, so you know. This is a pretty cheap version, but hey, it's the movie. And then I already own the first Phantasm, but I picked this up anyways because it was one of those nice Anchor Bay releases, and it still has a slip cover and everything. So I figured I'd pick it up again. I sent my less cool version to a buddy of mine, so now I got this. I love these Anchor Bay releases from the early 2000s. Really, really nice. Simon says Yugetsu is on YouTube. Cool. I didn't know that. And then I got the classic George C. Scott, The Changeling. I'd like to have a better version, not these crappy, remember these early 2000s DVDs. But whatever. I wanted to watch this, and I picked this up for like a couple bucks. I saw this a long time ago, and I just don't remember it. It was so long ago that I don't think I was paying attention. So now I can give it a shot, give it another shot, let it breathe this time. Because I remember thinking it was really good. I was just being stupid, not paying attention. Phenomenon has Iron Maiden soundtrack. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Interesting. All I can see is, it doesn't say that on this DVD. It talks about Goblin and stuff like that. Claudio Simonetti. Oh, okay. It's got Bruce Dickinson right there on the back. His name, anyways. That should be interesting. And I'm a big Jordan Peele fan. I've loved everything that he's done. He's only directed a handful of films so far, but they've all been like just top notch. So I picked up Nope. This is his most recent film. I know he's working on something right now, but as far as what's released, this is his most recent. And I've heard it's his most like weird movie too. Came out in 2022. I think this was his third. If you haven't seen his first two movies, check them out. I think they're honestly like modern day classics. Just my opinion. Then I've been wanting to see this one right here, Dead Birds. I've heard it's pretty good. I've heard it's like kind of one of the underrated kind of movies that nobody had ever really talked about. Came out in 2005. It's got let's see, it's got Henry Thomas, and there's someone else that's in it. Michael Shannon, I believe, is in it too. Always been a big Michael Shannon fan, so his name is not on the cover, so he must play a pretty small character. But yeah, heard it's pretty cool. And I think this completes my John Carpenter collection. I've been after this one for a while. Not that it's hard to find or anything, but I've been wanting to get it. Assault on Precinct 13. This is kind of one of his, I don't want to say lesser known movies, but not as popular as like, Halloween and stuff like that. But it's a pretty wild movie. It's it's just about like this like street gang that's attacking this police station, and it's basically a zombie film. They're not zombies, but they're like they're just it just seems like they're never ending, and they just have like no emotion. It's like a zombieless zombie film. And it's about these police, just fighting back against these just waves and waves of attackers. It's a pretty cool movie, to be honest. And then I picked up this movie I saw back in '98 in the theater. Remember it being pretty cool. Hopefully I don't remember wrong, but it's got Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Sutherland. So Virus. Remember it being a pretty cool sci-fi movie. Been wanting to rewatch it for a long time. Simon, yeah, the Assault on Precinct 13 remake, not one of my favorite remakes. I thought it was pretty bland. Had a good cast and everything, but all right. And last one for today. Got this just DVD special edition, whatever that means. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. One of the funniest movies of all time, easily. This is probably into my top 5 comedies. Just amazing. All the Monty Python stuff was awesome. Simon, I'm sure you're well familiar with the Monty Python stuff, because it was just very cult classic stuff in England and even in the U.S. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the Monty Python stuff, it was it started off as a TV show in the UK, and then they started doing movies, and it's very, not everyone understands British humor. Obviously Simon does, but I kind of grew up on the Monty Python stuff, so I do get a lot of that. British people have their own brand of humor, and I think it's great. It's very dry. Yeah, you know what I mean. Probably you've probably seen some British comedies, but yeah, all the Monty Python stuff is top notch. Life of Brian is actually probably my favorite. Virus is all right, Simon says. Your favorite Monty Python? For me, maybe it's a tie between that and Life of Brian. Are just drop dead classics. Never get tired of them. I could watch them every day. I think. Andre says Virus is a crazy robot film. Is it? I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it. It was like robot aliens. Yeah. That's right. Attacking the Earth, something like that. Hillier Matthews, new in here, but wonder how much you appreciate the added content, a special edition version of films. We're about done here. I did just show like 3 or 4 Criterion collection movies. And as far as your question goes, I used to watch, like when I would buy movies, I used to watch like the added content and bonus features and stuff. For a long time, I stopped. I would just watch the movie and forget about it. But lately, I've been getting more into like special features, because I mean, some of these, especially Criterion, like you said, they put a lot of work into the bonus stuff that they give you. It's not just like throwaway content. I like watching like usually if there's like a making of the movie and like maybe like in-depth interviews with the directors, I really like stuff like that. Simon didn't remember anything about robots and virus. I think they were aliens, but I think they were like cyborg robot type aliens. They weren't they weren't like your typical green or gray aliens. They were a little bit more like robotic. So I guess you could maybe call them robots or cyborgs or something kind of cool though. At least it's unique in its own way. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you there, Simon. But anyways, that's it. Thanks for stopping by, Matheus. Sorry you missed. I guess you could rewatch this if you want to, because I do show pretty decent amount of Criterion stuff in there. But I'm going to get out of my bedroom now because it's super cold in here. The weather today is just brutal. I'm going to go hang out by the heater. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit, guys. Take it easy. We'll talk to you later.